How's it going, Database? It's No Data here, and welcome back to another episode of Roblox Assassin. Today on Assassin, we are doing yet another top 10. I feel like it's been a while since we have done a top 10, so I decided, why not do a top 10? I was going to do a Murder Mystery 2 video where I bought Eternal 3, but that got sold out, which is kind of unfortunate. So now we're making this video, and in this video, we are going to count down the top 10 maps in Roblox Assassin. There are loads and loads of maps that have been in Roblox Assassin. I feel like there's been over 30 of them by now. And this video, we are going to count down the top 10 maps. Now, first of all, before I begin this top 10, keep in mind this is completely my opinion. Totally fine if you have a different opinion. Just, don't hate on me for it. Because I'm sorry. I just like certain maps better than others. And we are going to take every single map in Assassin history into consideration. So even if the map is not in the game anymore, it can still be on this list. That is totally alright. Out of the very huge amount of maps that have been in Assassin, only a very small percentage of them are still in the game. So yeah, we're going to put every map into consideration. So yeah, if you guys are excited for this episode of Assassin, then be sure to drop a like on this video, guys. It helps out a whole lot. And comment down below your favorite map. Also, guys, if you're new, be sure to subscribe because next week we are going to start a Skeleton King giveaway. So be sure to subscribe so that you are notified about that. Anyway, without further ado, let us begin the top 10. At number 10, we have the Oasis. Now, this was a very, very, very old map. If I can get a picture of it, I will show this to you guys. But yeah, this is a very old Assassin map. This was around when I didn't really play Assassin that much. I might have played on that map a little bit, like once or twice, but then I stopped playing Assassin for a little while. So I think I played on this for a very short amount of time, but I don't really count that as when I started playing Assassin. But yeah, I do remember this map a little bit, not that much though. And this was definitely just a very simple map. Like, I know there was a little bit of a lake that you could walk around in, but it was just a ground. And it was sort of a beach, and then you could go in a cave, and then you would end up sort of on the top of the map above the beach, and then you could throw knives from below. This is a very nice open map, so I feel like that's super cool. It's kind of small, but you know what? That's alright, because it's a nice open map. Everyone is kind of in one place, and you can kind of see how the Oasis was sort of an inspiration for the ruins, because some parts of the Oasis are kind of similar to the ruins, because they're both open maps, and then they both have a cave where it kind of brings you to the top, and then you can throw knives from below. So yeah, I feel like this is a very solid map that definitely built the foundations for better maps in the future. So yeah, Oasis is at number 10. At number 9, it is actually a tie between Graveyard and Winter Graveyard. Now, obviously, I put these two on the same, slot because they're pretty much the same map. Let's be real here. The Graveyard was also a pretty nice open map. It also had like loads of houses and stuff that you could kind of fight around. And then there were gravestones and stuff. I think there were a couple of hiding spots around. It was pretty cool. It had a couple game-breaking glitches at first, but once those got patched, it was a pretty good map overall. People really enjoyed this one, and so the map was removed and then everyone kind of missed it. And then it actually came back during the Christmas 2017 event. And it was Winter Graveyard. So, Winter Graveyard was the exclusive map for Christmas 2017. And it was amazing. Like, it was super nostalgic to go back to the graveyard. And then it's also remastered. Like, there's plenty of snow on the ground. There's some new areas. It was just super, super cool. It's kind of a shame that that was only for the event. I feel like that kind of should have stayed for a little bit longer. Like, a little bit after Christmas, like we still have Arctic base in Assassin and it's June, so I don't know why Winter Graveyard had to go. Like, everybody loved that map, but yeah, definitely a great map overall. At number 8, we have the Subway, specifically the old version of Subway. Now, the current version of Subway isn't necessarily bad. It's definitely playable, it's definitely a good map overall. However, I feel like as a whole, I think the old Subway was a lot better. First of all, the dilapidated version of Subway that we currently have, where it's all completely in ruins, that is cool to look at first. I think that is pretty cool. Because, when you play on the old Subway for so long and then, the whole thing suddenly destroyed, I do think that is pretty cool. But it does kind of get old after a while, and now I actually kind of think that the clean, slick version of the original Subway was a lot better overall. Also, the original version of Subway was a bit more open than the current Subway. The current version of Subway added more trains and walls that were kind of unnecessary and didn't really help the map at all. And I feel like the old version of Subway, you had a lot more room to walk around in. So I feel like that version of Subway is better overall. But, you know, the current version of Subway that we have is also pretty good. Don't get me wrong. The only other problem I would have with the old Subway is a lot of people lag on it. But, personally, I don't lag. That was never really an issue for me. Even on my old laptop, that wasn't really a problem for me on Subway. But, yeah, that can be an issue for some people. But, yeah, the current version of Subway is not that bad, but the old version is definitely better. At number 7, we have the bank, the old version of bank. I'm talking about the bank when I first started playing Assassin. I know a lot of you guys did not play back then, but trust me, the old version of bank, in my opinion, was honestly really good. Nowadays, we have a different version of bank, and I honestly do not like it at all, which is pretty sad because, you know, I really like the old version of bank, and when I heard that bank was coming back, I was really, really excited. But, like, the current version of bank is just so bad. I'm sorry, it is so cramped. You have no room to walk around. I just don't like it overall. But yeah, the old version of Bank was really, really good. It was a lot more open. I always won on that map. I didn't know why, but that was like my lucky map when I first started playing Assassin. So I played on it like a bunch, and it was awesome. And yes, it did have quite a few camping spots, but they were honestly so predictable. Like, you definitely knew where the campers were. And so you would kind of be able to work around them and kind of plan ahead before you walk into a room where a camper is, you know? The old version of Bank also had this one very, very long hallway that kind of separated the rooms. And when you threw a knife through the hallway, I think that was also really, really cool to do. At number 6, we have Estate 2. Now, Estate was always a really good map. A lot of people like it. There's just a lot to it. You know, the stairs are pretty cool. The bathroom, got the bookshelves, got the bedroom. It was super cool. And then you could go outside and fight there. It was a really good map overall. And the second version of Estate, you know, Estate 2, was definitely a lot better. It had a lot more Easter eggs, which is super cool. Like in the bedroom, you have the figures of all of the admins. You can see, like, you know, action figures of all the admins. And then you also have the Tofu Easter egg, which is super cool. You can see Tofu on the computer. And then if you really pay attention, you can find a lot more details. Like, if you really pay attention, you can actually find out that the owner of the house is actually a competitive Super Smash Bros. Player, because near the TV there is actually a GameCube, which is super cool. And then if you go down the stairs, there is actually a Super Smash Bros. Trophy, which I think is super cool. I love those sorts of details. And yeah, it just took everything good about the original Estate and just made it a lot better. Made it a lot more detailed, a lot more polished, a lot bigger. It is just a great map overall. At number 5, we have the Asylum, specifically the new Asylum. The old Asylum I didn't necessarily like very much. It just felt like there were too many rooms to camp. And I feel like the new Asylum kind of got rid of that. Like, they kind of got rid of those rooms where you could just hide in. And it kind of just put more focus on the hallways. So you would fight in the hallways, and you can also fight in the main room, which is super cool. There were also 2 floors to the Asylum, which I thought was really cool. You know, it was definitely a good idea to add 2 floors to it. And I also like how it was like completely, you know, destroyed and dilapidated. And then, you know, there was a table on fire, which is super cool. Just those sorts of details are awesome. This map in particular was very special to me because this was the second Assassin map where there was a no data Easter egg. If you looked in one of the doors, you would actually see my Roblox avatar, like in the white room where the crazy people are. You would actually see him in the white room, which I thought was super cool. A really nice detail. And I didn't even expect it to get added into the map. Like, there was another map with a no data Easter egg, but that was sort of expected. Like, it was kind of announced beforehand, so we kind of expected it to come. And this one kind of just came out of the blue. So it was just sudden, and it was awesome, honestly. At number 4, we have the farm. This is a nice open map, which is super cool. I really liked how you could climb to the top of the barn if you were really skilled. I thought that was super cool. Sadly, you can't really do that anymore. I really wish you could. But if you get a lot of people to climb on the barn, you can actually glitch out. But you probably don't want to do that. That's not really that helpful to anybody involved. And it's just a very nice map to fight in overall. You know, when you're on one side of the map and then you throw a knife all the way across the map and you manage to snipe someone, that is like the most satisfying feeling of playing Roblox Assassin. That is just the best thing you could ever do to somebody. The only thing I don't like about the farm are the spawn points, because sometimes when somebody's AFK, it can be hard to find somebody because the spawn points are kind of outside of the map. You're never really going to spawn in the middle of the map. Now that it shows the final target, that's not much of a problem anymore, but it is kind of hard to find your targets sometimes. At number 3, we have Castle Keep 2. Now, Castle Keep kind of went from being one of my least favorite maps to one of my most favorite maps. Castle Keep 1, I really didn't like at all. I felt like it was cramped. I felt like it was hard to move around. I felt like you would kind of just die. I feel like you would just get camped out. But Olaf did an amazing job with Castle Keep 2. He completely fixed all of the issues with Castle Keep 1. Again, I feel like in Castle Keep 1, I feel like the hallways were way too linear. You couldn't really do anything. You couldn't really move around. So what Olaf did was he kind of just made the hallways wider. So yeah, the hallways aren't super open, but I feel like it gives you just enough, movement room to avoid any knives coming your way. So for the most part, you have just the perfect amount of room to move around and, not get screwed over or camped out or anything. And what I love about Castle Keep 2 is just how expansive it is. Like, there are so many places to go and so many ways to get there. Like, for example, let's say you wanted to get to the top of the map. There were like so many ways to get there. You can go up the stairs, you can climb the rope. There's like 3 different ways to get to that specific area, and I think that is super cool. So again, you have a bunch of movement room. There's plenty of ways to go to a specific room. So let's say, your last target is in a specific room. You can basically ask yourself, how am I going to get there? Like, what route am I going to take to get to that room? And that is just super cool. That is just a great way to do a map. There's a bunch of different ways to move around in the map. There's so many different areas. It will take you a full round to walk everywhere in the map and go all the different paths. It takes a very long time to like completely take a full tour of the map. And that is so cool because there were so many different ways to go, and that is absolutely awesome. It is just a great map overall, and it is very, very detailed, which I think is amazing. At number 2, we have the Ruins. Now, this is the best map for competitive play, hands down. It is very, very open. There's plenty of ways to go. There's a cave, so you can go in the cave and then kind of fight on the top. Very, very good map overall. This is my favorite map that is currently still in the game. If I'm playing competitive mode and I need to get those comp points, I need to get those wins, gotta get those tokens to open the cases, always go to Ruins. That is just the perfect place to grind. If you're playing like a free-for-all, this is a very hectic map. There are going to be knives flying every single direction. It is going to be absolutely insane. And yeah, very good map overall. When it got remastered and sort of expanded the map a bit, made it a little bit bigger, that was awesome. And then when dynamic lighting was added to it, the map got even better. So yeah, very good map overall. Very fun to play on. And finally, at number 1, my personal favorite map is going to be Prismart. So sadly, Prismart was only around for a very, very short amount of time. It was only available for like 1 month during summer. But it was an extremely good map. First of all, it was super fun to fight in. In my opinion, I think the aisles were pretty cool. I understand how some people would think that the aisles are kind of intrusive, but you could kind of just jump around the walls of the aisles, and then that would be really cool. So like you could jump over the shelves and then, fight there, which I thought was super cool. So it was very fun to sort of maneuver around the map. It wasn't necessarily open, but like if you played creatively, it was a very fun way to fight, in my opinion. It wasn't necessarily intrusive in the way like, oh, you're gonna get camped. Like, you're really not gonna get camped in that sort of way, because you could jump over the shelves and then, stab people in a certain way so that you wouldn't get camped out. So I thought that was really good. But hands down, the best part of Prismart is the Easter egg. Now, I know a lot of people are going to think that Prismart is number 1 because of the no data Easter egg. So yeah, there is a no data Easter egg in Prismart. Near one of the registers, there is actually a no data plush, which I thought was super cool. That was awesome. So a lot of people are going to think that that's the reason this is number 1. And yes, that is one of the reasons. But, I don't like this map just because it has a no data Easter egg. I like this map because it has Easter eggs of so many different people. There were so many Easter eggs throughout the map, I really couldn't keep track of them all, but basically every single assassin admin had an Easter egg, basically. I think Zikori had an Easter egg, maybe Blarski, I'm not sure. Prisman pretty sure he got one. But yeah, pretty much every single assassin admin got an Easter egg of some kind. And it's not just admins. I'm pretty sure there were a bunch of other people like Nilo Oblivion. I'm pretty sure Nilo got an Easter egg. And that was super cool. Like, so many important people to the assassin community got their recognition in this map. And it was kind of a map where, like, everybody had an Easter egg, and that was absolutely insane. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of that, so I feel really happy that I was a part of that, and I think that is awesome. So that's why Prismart is probably going to be my favorite map to ever exist in Roblox Assassin. Anyway, yeah guys, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Roblox Assassin. Thank you guys so much for watching this top 10. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and those are the things that YouTube people do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay purple.